Today I'm going to be talking about literary naturalism. My definition of literary naturalism refers to the attempt to include scientific objectivity in literature. Naturalists believe studying the person interacting with their surroundings helps define human nature rather than focusing only on the protagonist of the story and their psychology. I chose The Law of Life by Jack London, and the passage I chose from that story is, "He did not murmur. It was the law of life, and it was just. He had been born close to the earth, and close to the earth had he lived. Its law was not new to him. It was the law of all flesh. Nature was not kindly to the flesh. She had no concern for that single thing called the individual. Her interest lay in the race of man as a whole. He grasped this idea firmly. He saw its truth displayed everywhere, the awakening of life in a tree, the bursting greenness of its branches, and the fall of the yellow leaf. In this alone was told the story of history." In this story, London uses the life of an American Indian in Alaska to portray a man on the verge of death, accepting his fate because of his surroundings. The scientific objectivity of him being alone, listening as the last breaths are escaping his body, helps the reader see his true nature before he dies. He knew this fate would be his because it was his father's and his father's fate. The man is coming to terms with death, waiting around the corner for him. The setting in this work challenges the protagonist because of the harsh environment he is in. He is in Alaska in winter, traveling with his nomadic tribe. He is an elderly man facing the elements. The story starts with him sitting on the outskirts of the camp that is getting packed up. He hears his granddaughter laughing and talking, and his son rummaging through the camp. He thinks they have left him behind, which is protocol for his condition. He closes his eyes and knows what lurks just around the corner. But even minutes away from death, he is accepting. He hears someone approaching. It is his son coming to say goodbye to him. The reader is given some socio-political context when the old man explains that he has seen many elderly people left behind to die in the unforgiving wilderness, and many of these people never got last goodbyes from their family. He is thankful that his son stayed behind and made sure that his old man was okay. So the two main themes of literary naturalism that I saw in this story was theme 3, which is nature is an indifferent force acting on the lives of human beings, and that's Wordsworth's quote. She, Mother Nature, has no concern for that single thing called the individual. Her interest lay in the race of man as a whole. That's London 11, and that supports the nature is indifferent because he's saying that Mother Nature has she has no concern for the individual. She doesn't care who you are. She's eventually going to take you. It's a circle of life. Another theme to support this story is theme 4. And that states the forces of heredity and environment as they afflict individual lives. This comes from Naturalism in American literature. The old men he had known when he was a boy had known old men before them. Therefore, it is true that the tribe lived, that it represented the obeying of all its members whose final resting places were unremembered. So just saying the heredity, the environment, you don't have to mark a place for you to remember who's passed away. And then with this movement's legacy, a question of how can this be used in today's literature is posed. If one of the writers from the naturalistic period were to write a book today, it could center on a protagonist interacting with the big city, and then they realize that it's not the true way of life. They move to the wilderness to try to find the new meaning of life, or the true meaning of life. The reader sees how they interact with the city versus how they interact with the wilderness, and this will help them scientifically and objectively see the true human nature of someone living in today's world versus when naturalism was really big, because it was obviously a much different time period. Thank you.